I'd like to talk to you today a little bit about the word budget, because people keep using that word, and I don't think it means what they think it means. Generally speaking, if you have a household, or even if you're just an individual that you have income and you want to see where it's going, you take a look at your income and your outgo, and you sit down and you make a budget. That means that you are looking at an analysis of your actual income, first and foremost, and then an analysis of your expenditures, seeing which things you can cut so that you can stay under what you're bringing in. If you are spending more than you are bringing in, you're going to end up in a deficit. Now, this deficit, this is basically going into debt, is something that Americans have become alarmingly comfortable with. The idea that somehow you can just whip out a credit card and have something today, a little swipe here that'll stick in the chip there, have something today that you haven't saved for, that you haven't planned for, that you haven't budgeted for, well, it creates a problem. Because what you're doing when you're borrowing from the future is you're making yourself a slave to your current desires. And it's something that we're trying to teach our children, but it's very hard when we ourselves sometimes are at a place where, why don't we just use the credit card? No, when that's extrapolated from the household and put onto a governmental level, you very often see the budgetary process going backwards. Instead of beginning with the income and saying, well, we have this much coming in from this tax, we have this much coming in from those fees, we have this much coming in from this other, federal teat over here, whatever, wherever those funds are coming from, instead of beginning with that, they go the other way and they say, well, we want to spend on this, and we want to spend on that, and we want to spend on this, and they start making these lists of things that they are planning on spending money on, and then they try to figure out how to pay for it afterwards. It's backwards. It not only encourages deficit spending, borrowing from the future, but it also ends up heaping more taxes on people. Now, you've heard me say before that taxation is theft, and I really believe that is the case. I don't think that you can justify to me anybody coming up and saying, I've spent money on your behalf and you owe me, so pay up. No matter how you look at it, whether it's some stranger on a street just pulling out a gun and saying, give me your money, or whether it's your friends. I mean, can you imagine going over to a party, and while you're in the head, somebody comes out and say, when you come out and they say, oh, we decided to order pizza, your share is such and such. You might say, well, okay, there was an expectation that there'd be food, I brought some money just in case, but what if you don't have the money? You see, in a normal voluntary interaction among friends, you're able to say, hey, don't order me any pizza. Don't include me in your plans. I don't have the money to pay for it. Or even, I don't really feel like having any pizza tonight. I think I'm going to, grab something out of the fridge when I get home. Whatever. When somebody presumes to spend money on your behalf and then expects you to pay up, it's theft. And it's theft whether it happens between friends or whether it happens between strangers, whether it's somebody that you honestly trust, like a family member, or whether it's somebody that is presumed to have your trust because they were elected with or without your participation. When you look at this so-called budgetary process that they're going through right now in the state of Alaska, they do it in every state, obviously, but in Alaska for decades, it hasn't affected the people that much because all of this money has been just flowing into the coffers from the oil. We've had all this oil money coming in, making it so that the lawmakers can just make up this wish list and go off and spend on whatever they want to, give contracts to people, create retirement programs that are completely unrealistic and unsustainable. Now they're looking at all of that they've already committed to, and they're looking at other things that they want to spend money on, and they're coming back to the people of Alaska and saying, yeah, we're going to have to take more of the oil money. Sorry, you're not going to get as much dividend anymore. We need to fix this problem. So how are we going to fix this problem? Well, we're going to take more of your money. That's not a fix. That's not a budget. I'm not sure what the right word is for it, but it is not a budget. Please stop calling it that. Just, you know what? If you want my money, if you want my stuff, just come on over and take it, if you can. That's my 2 cents. I'm Steve Floyd, and this is RadioFreeSpeech.com.